Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Tracy and I are headed out on another camping trip, and we are actually on our way to Manatee Springs State Park in Chiefland, Florida. If you're an RVer and you're contemplating camping at Manatee Springs State Park, stick around till the end of the video and I'll give you a site-by-site tour of the entire campground. We're going to go get the camper set up, and then we're going to go out and see what this state park has to offer. Our first order of business is to check out one of the trails. This particular one happens to be right behind the Magnolia Campground, and it is a very large area of sinkholes. This whole area of Florida is noted for sinkholes. In fact, that's what created a lot of the springs in the area, as the limestone gets eaten away and caves in and exposes the aquifer. On day 2, the weather improved dramatically. We went from coats and jeans to shorts and t-shirts. We're headed down to the spring right now to check it out. There's a beautiful boardwalk that goes all the way out to the Swanee River. Many years ago, Tracy and I trailered our boat to the town of Swanee on the Gulf Coast, and we made a long weekend of boat camping on the river. And I do remember we actually pulled up to this dock right here at Manatee Springs just to get out and explore. And now here we are over a decade later, and we're retired and enjoying camping at the same place.
Yeah, it was full hookup, so.
Okay, yeah. You can use your car down here.
My folks did, you know, give me some shade and give me some.
Even though it was February and you would have expected a much larger gathering of manatees, the weather had gotten a little warmer the week before, and I guess they were all out trying to forage in the Swanee River.
Look up and wave.
The next morning we hopped in the truck and made the hour-long drive over to the Gulf Coast, where we visited Cedar Key. We got a late start, so our first stop is lunch at Steamers, and the food was amazing. Because of all the recent tidal surge and flooding, these entire condo buildings are being lifted by hydraulic jacks and placed on pilings to get them up above flood stage. Dock Street used to be home to restaurants and hotels built out over the water. Unfortunately, many of them were blown away in the hurricane, and what's left is just devastation. I'm not even sure what to say about this golf cart. I'm just going to leave it to your imagination.
Watch for cemetery and then here.
Watch for flying discs. Great. And it's a birding trail. See those little birds out there on that sandbar?
Yep, that's what I was focused on.
All right, so we are at the Fanning Springs Trailhead for the Nature Coast Trail, and it's an old railway bed that they have paved over, and you can ride your bike, you can walk, and I see up ahead they even have a place to ride horses. So anyway, so off we go. We're gonna go see the Swanee River. The Nature Coast Trail covers 32 miles of the former Atlantic Coastline Railway and connects the towns of Cross City and Chiefland. One of the highlights on our ride was this railroad trestle that crosses the Swanee River. This dates back to 1902 and would have seen steam locomotives crossing it as they were in prevalent use until after World War II. Alright, I'm going to take you on a driving tour of the 3 different campgrounds. There is Magnolia 1, Magnolia 2, and Hickory. Magnolia 1, which we're driving through right now, the vast majority of these sites are full hookup. So they have 30 and 50 amp electric, they have water, and they have sewer hookup. There are 2 or 3 in here that aren't full hookup according to the ranger, so just be careful when you make your reservations if that's what you want, and make sure that sewer is listed on the state reservation website. None of the campsites in Magnolia 2 have full hookup. They're all just water and electric only. The Hickory Loop is designated as tent camping only, although during our stay I did notice there were some van campers in there. The ranger explained that an underground river that feeds Manatee Springs flows directly under that campground, and out of concern for the limestone giving way, they don't allow large heavy RVs in that part of the campground. Being fairly new to RVing, I have found that looking at a photograph of a particular campsite doesn't really tell you a whole lot, and that's why I do these drive-through tours. At least this way you get to see what's adjacent to your site and also how far the sites are from one another. If you find this content helpful, I'd appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up button and also subscribe to our channel. There are several sites in the campground that are paved, and they have a paved sidewalk that leads to the bathhouse. Those sites are intended for campers with mobility issues, so keep that in mind and be neighborly when you're making reservations, and leave those for people that really need them. I didn't have time during our stay to get more information, but it looks like the park has some glamping tents that are available as well. Thank you for joining us on this little adventure. We're actually headed out tomorrow morning for a loop through the southeast where we're going to stop at 5 different campgrounds. We're going to make our way as far west as New Orleans, north to Monroe, Louisiana, then back east to Providence Canyon State Park.